Hey everyone, Scooby-Foo here, and we're at the end of the season, which means for those of you who just started playing recently, it's time to say, oh, hi, Boomer, I know I should get some weapons before Season 15 starts, but I just don't know what I can get quickly. And then, like a diamond in a pile of coal, you find this video that answers that exact question, and nothing else. How convenient. So I'll be going through a whole lot of options for things you can get this season, but if you don't have time for that, you can skip to this timestamp for my top picks from each category, based on both the quality of the weapon and expected speed of acquiring it. For kinetics and energies, I've got 3 primary and special weapons each, and then for heavy weapons, I've got 1 for each type. There won't be too much in-depth discussion for each individual weapon here, just how to get it, what roles to look out for, and any alternatives or other notes. A few final things before the list. I've only picked weapons that you can acquire through both target farming and in solo or matchmade activities, to make this list as accessible as possible. As well, I limited it to only require owning Beyond Light or Season of the Splicer, as you can only get Season of the Hunt and Chosen through purchasing Beyond Light's Deluxe Edition, and a new player may not own old content. Finally, check Banshee. His inventory changes every week, and sometimes he'll be selling god rolls of weapons I did not mention here. Trust me, it's worth taking a quick look at his inventory after each weekly reset to see if he's got anything good. Finally, let's get into the list. We'll go over options for close range, mid-range, long range, go through the special ammo options, then repeat for the next slot, etc. First up, high albedo rolled with threat detector and wellspring or high impact reserves. This drops from Europa sidearm bounties, which are acquired from Varix's second page on Europa. A good close-range option, as 3-burst sidearms are the highest DPS sidearm archetype, and acquiring it will be quick thanks to the bounties always giving you the right gun. Next, Chroma Rush with Subsistence and Rampage, or Feeding Frenzy and Kill Clip. This drops from opening the key code chest at the end of an override, or the Splicer Captain's Armory Umbral Focus. A very solid weapon all around, fits the mid-ranges perfectly. Next, a Night Watch from the New Light quest. Seriously. Early into the New Light quest, you'll get a Night Watch that rolls Overflow and Explosive Payload every time. 200 RPM scouts are wonderful, and this drops as a near-perfect roll every time. Super worth getting. Alternatively, if you want a bow, Biting Winds rolled with Explosive Head is another good option. It drops from the Dark Priestess Empire Hunt quest picked up from Varix on Europa. Special weapons. We'll be looking at Blasphemer rolled with 4th times the charm and Swashbuckler. This comes from completing the final wave of Altars of Sorrow on the moon on days where the Ogre is the final boss. I would suggest looking up charts or looking at daily reset posts if you want to know when it's up without doing an altar to find out. Mid-range, in my opinion, by far your best option is an Ignition Code rolled with Spike Grenades, Slide Shot and Vorpal Weapon, or Blinding Grenades and Field Prep, with the 4th perk not being too important. Ignition Code is acquired through opening the key code chest at the end of an override, or the Splicer Captain's Armory Umbral Focus, which just so happens to be the same one that Chroma Rush is acquired through, so that's some nice efficiency for your farming. Slide Shot and Vorpal gives solid DPS and ad clear where needed, and Blinding Grenades is simply absurd crowd control. Very good. Long range, you're in a bit of a pickle. Not that there's a lack of kinetic snipers, it's just that for what we can get with only Beyond Light and Splicer, there's literally no options that don't require raiding, trials, or Iron Banner, if Bite of the Fox even drops anymore, that we can target farm. So I'm breaking a rule here and suggesting Long Shadow with Rapid Hit and Triple Tap. This is a world drop, which means unless we get lucky and Banshee sells a god roll sometime soon, your only option is to play the game and pray you get a good one. Good luck. That's it for kinetic weapons, we're on to energies now. Back to primaries. For close range, we're looking at Stochastic Variable, rolling Feeding Frenzy and Multi-Kill Clip. This is acquired through the FWC Close Range Umbral Focus. This is a solid SMG to roam around with. While it may be outclassed by something like the Ikelos SMG, the only way to get that is praying you get one from Banshee or a random drop, so Stochastic it is. The Vision is an alternate choice for this slot, rolling Ambitious Assassin and Kill Clip. This is also acquired through the FWC Close Range Umbral Focus, so keep an eye out for it while you're rolling a Stochastic Variable. Mid-range, we're looking at a Grid Skipper rolling with Heating Up and Frenzy. This one's acquired through opening the key code chest at the end of an override, or the Splicer Vandal's Armory Umbral Focus. While pulse rifles aren't the best in PvE right now, Grid Skipper is still a solid option for those mid-ranges. Long range, we're looking at an Eternal Blazon rolled with Rapid Hit and One for All, acquired through the Longshot or Soul System Archive Umbral Focus. Although it doesn't roll explosive payload like Night Watch, all my other comments about 200 RPM scouts apply here. Very good. If you have Enhancement Prisms and an Ascendant Shard laying around, you can also pick up Point of the Stag from the exotic kiosk under the Legacy Gear section, if you want a bow and have the spare resources. Special weapons. Close range, you're looking at a Sojourner's Tale with auto-loading holster and frenzy, which comes from the Splicer Kel's Armory Umbral Focus. Slug shotguns are just, really good right now, so I would quite heavily suggest picking up a good roll of this. However, if you're strapped for time and decrypted data, you could instead pick up the Deicide, rolling with Slide Shot and Vorpal Weapon. This one comes from the FWC Close Range Umbral Focus, meaning you can farm for that, Stochastic, and the Vision all at the same time. How efficient. Very good. Mid-range, we're looking at fusion rifles, specifically Coriolis Force. Any roll, all the perks on this thing are awful for a fusion. This is acquired through the Technocrat Empire Hunt quest, picked up from Varix on Europa. Despite the awful perks, the reason I'm recommending it anyways is that the unique aggressive frame it has deals nearly the same DPS as other fusions with Vorpal Weapon. So in some sense the awful perks on this are a blessing, as any roll of it is realistically as good as any other, so you can just go get a roll and you're good. If you do want to roll for a different fusion, you can go for Cartesian Coordinate with Vorpal Weapon from the Shock Trooper or Soul System Archive Umbral Focus. However, in my opinion, if you're looking to quickly build up an arsenal, it's not worth going through the additional RNG just for what amounts to a 4% DPS increase over Coriolis Force. Long range, we're looking at Adored. This drops from a quest that you can pick up from Banshee and always has Triple Tap and Vorpal Weapon as perk options. Can't get much more deterministic than that. If you're looking for something different though, consider an Uzume RR4 with a mag increase, Triple Tap, and Vorpal Weapon. This comes from Nightfalls when the weekly drop rotates to it. If you want to get one, your next and final chance for this season is the weekly reset on the 17th to 24th, which, funnily enough, is also the final week of the season. Just go get Adored instead. And that's it for energy weapons. We're almost done. On to heavy weapons. Since we don't have a primary special distinction here, I'll just give one option for each kind of heavy weapon. Let's get it out of the way. The only LFR we can go for right now is a Tarantula with Field Prep and Box Breathing, coming from the Longshot or Soul System Archive Umbral Focus, the same ones as Eternal Blazon. This thing's not great, but it is our only option. Box Breathing is a solid 33% buff for LFRs, but the time it takes to activate makes it only really worth using for your first shot. Going from a long-range option to a close-range one, Falling Guillotine, rolling with Relentless Strikes and Whirlwind Blade, coming from the Blade's Umbral Focus. I don't have to explain why this is good, right? It's really good. Not hard to get a good roll, this is a great option for a quick, good heavy weapon. Next up is Shattered Cipher, rolling with auto-loading holster or field prep and Rampage. It's gotten from the Splicer Kel's Armory Umbral Focus, which once again is the same Umbral Focus that Sojourner's Tale comes from, which helps us farm just a little more efficiently. Rapid-fire machine guns aren't my favorite archetype, but it's hard to deny that they work more than well enough for most content. Grenade Launcher, we're looking at Memory Interdict, rolling Clown Cartridge or auto-loading holster, and Chain Reaction. This one comes from the FWC Favored Arms Umbral Focus, which unfortunately doesn't share any weapons that we've mentioned so far. I'm not big on legendary heavy grenade launchers, but it's hard to deny that the perks this thing can roll are quite nice. Finally, our final weapon on the final part of this list will finally be mentioned at last. Heretic, rolling Field Prep and Lasting Impression. This one comes from Altars of Sorrow on Minotaur boss days. Much like Blasphemer, I would suggest looking up daily reset posts on somewhere like r/Destiny the game, or looking at Charlemagne's daily reset posts in most big Destiny discords. Rocket launchers are pretty hot right now, and while other rockets rolling auto-loading holster and Vorpal Weapon are preferred by me, in terms of rocket launchers we can actually get for this list, this seems to be the best one. And that's it for the extended list. All that being said, not all weapons are created equal, and not all equal weapons take the same amount of time to get. If you're somebody who's low on time, what are the best and quickest weapons out of each category for you to get? For Kinetics, your number one primary will be Night Watch, due to the purely deterministic fashion that you get it. For your special, none of them are particularly quick to get, but I'd suggest going for an Ignition Code, as you'll run the chance of also getting a good Chroma Rush at the same time. Energy weapons, I'd have to suggest going for Eternal Blazon, as the Longshot Umbral Focus can also give you Tarantula, which might save you time if you're looking to use that as your heavy weapon. For special, I'll have to suggest the Deicide, as all of the weapons in the FWC Close Range Umbral Focus are ones we want, making this a very, very efficient Umbral to focus. That being said, however, I would also suggest getting a Dord and a Coriolis Force, as those are both also extremely quick to acquire. For heavy weapons, I've already mentioned Tarantula, but Fallen Guillotine will be very quick to acquire a good roll-on thanks to its small perk pool, and Shattered Cipher will also be somewhat efficient to get due to the focus for it also giving Sojourner's Tale. So there's your specific picks out of each category. If I had to pick 5 weapons out of this whole list to tell you to get, I'd say, in no particular order, Adored, Coriolis Force, Nightwatch, Fallen Guillotine, and any of the 3 weapons in the FWC Close Range Umbral Focus. And I guess that's it. There's not anything else to pad this script out with, not even some unnecessary final opinion on what I've presented. It's just a list of things you should get if you're limited on time and don't have much of an arsenal built up. Wait, I'm padding the script right now. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to smack a like on the video, subscribe if you want to see more, and join my Discord or follow me on Twitter for other stuff from me. For now, I've been Scooby Foo. Thank you for watching.